Welcome to another episode of Beyond the Game. Mike and Joey, what do we have in store for us on today's episode?
Well, we're going to start off with a recap of the NFL opening weekend. We're going to get a little bit into college football. Does Lamar Jackson have what it takes to win the Heisman again? And we're going to talk about the U.S. Open and if Rafael Nadal could catch Roger Federer's total in Slam championships.
Yeah, it could be something good with the U.S. Open and Nadal and catching Roger Federer for number 19. We'll see what happens. And we're going to see also the Nationals. They were the first team in the MLB to clinch a division in Major League Baseball, the NL East. Hashtag all rise. Beyond the Game episode number 15 gets started right now.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to episode 15 and episode 2 of the revamped edition of Beyond the Game. We are here live in the studio on WSJU, St. John's University Sports Radio. I want to welcome back the main men that we have in the studio, Joey Jarzinka and Michael Slavitt. We are airing on our weekly schedule, which is every Monday from 11 to 1. So tune in and join us for our 2-hour show. Feel free to give us a call and join us on today's topics at 718-990-3758. Today's show will be replayed tonight on the I-95 Sports Network from 5 to 7 p.m. on i95sportsnetwork.com. Log on to their website for more details. Be sure to follow Beyond the Game on Instagram and Twitter at Beyond the Game 4 and Facebook at Beyond the Game Radio. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as today marks the date of the tragic events that happened 16 years ago on September 11, 2001, please join us in a moment of silence for the innocent men, women, and children who lost their lives on an airplane, at the World Trade Center, at the Pentagon, and on the streets of New York. We also want to recognize those who are in the midst of a natural disaster, Hurricane Irma, and keep them in our thoughts and prayers as they endure in this horrible situation. Thank you. Now, time to move on to our first segment, which is about NFL Kickoff Weekend and what we learned. Now, well, basically we will discuss that we had learned from this past weekend and our opinions on teams coming out of Week 1. Guys, I'm going to get the ball rolling on this one by saying that this first week was extremely unpredictable for me, especially with the first game of the NFL season between the New England Patriots and the Kansas City Chiefs. I was expecting to see a fast-paced New England offense to put up big numbers, not to be giving up big numbers. The first drive of the game, though, was exactly what I imagined they would do, as they marched right down the field and scored a touchdown right out of the gate. As we went over last week's show with the absence of Julian Edelman's ACL injury, I was expecting the Pats offense to maybe, not work to its full potential, but I didn't think it was going to look like this. I'm not saying it was bad, but it definitely wasn't up to par. And Tom Brady was going into the season opener with a 12-2 record, which is phenomenal. I was expecting Brady to be hitting receivers left and right, with no problem moving down the field. But from the very first drive, what I noticed is he was missing receivers way more than usual. I was thinking maybe, it's just some first game kinks he was trying to work out. But, playing at home in front of some of the best fans in football, I thought they would give him some of his mojo back and just some of his confidence boosted. But obviously that wasn't the case. Brady finished the game throwing 16 for 36 and 0 touchdowns. But the upside of the Pats offense was easily Mike Gillislee, who put up 3 touchdowns for New England. I have to say, though, I really do not see him, having this type of impact going throughout the season for the Patriots. I'm not saying he's, fake or anything, but I don't know. He didn't even put up that many yards. He's really a goal line guy. Guys, what do you guys see from other teams, or maybe even from the same game of NFL Week Off?
One quick thing I just want to mention. First off, we also have Rodney Harris, our third host. Rod, you're with us, right?
Absolutely.
All right, great. So I just want to mention to you, first off, thank you for being on the air with us again. And exactly what Alex said, we're going to get to you in just a moment. As soon as Mike gets his, you'll be on right after Mike.
No problem, guys.
Yeah, and I think it's important to touch upon that first game of the season. I actually kind of forgot it happened already. It was on Thursday, and I remember being here earlier that day. Tyler Dell was here, and he made a comment about Kareem Hunt and who on that running back, I guess,
on the running back staff,
the running back staff for the Chiefs would come out and perform as well as where would have been. And this Kareem Hunt kid rushed 17 times for 148 yards. That's 8.7 yards an attempt. I mean, that was unbelievable. Not to mention, he added 5 receptions for 98 yards. That man is another playmaker that they have. He was a playmaker in college. His speed was a concern. He showed that it shouldn't be a concern. The playmaking ability is there. Team him up with Tyreek Hill. Alex Smith had himself a game. And watch out, these Chiefs are for real this season. The Patriots, on the other hand, still looked okay. Chiefs outplayed them for sure. But I think the Patriots can take a moment, take a step back here. You're right. Gillislee's not anything special. He got the goal line touchdowns that LeGarrette Blount got last year. Brady didn't play so well himself. A lot of miscues with the receivers. I think he did miss Edelman more than I was expecting him to miss him. They'll pick it up next week, though. I'm sure about it.
Rod, that's all you now.
No problem. I'm going to step away from the Patriot and Chiefs game. I understand that it was one of the most shocking games of Week 1, but I want to focus in on the game myself that I found very entertaining, and I actually caught myself watching more than I was watching my pathetic Jets yesterday. I was focusing in on that Steelers-Browns game. Now, don't get me wrong, I was not expecting the Steelers or I was expecting the Browns to be as competitive as they were in that game. But the Browns actually impressed me yesterday. Not for nothing. That defense held Ben Roethlisberger down, really getting after him, making him feel uncomfortable, but then he started to pick it up and show that big playmaking ability with him and Antonio Brown. You know, Big Ben he went 24 for 36, 263 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Only got sacked once at a QBR of 79.5. But on the other hand, you had Deshaun Kaiser, who went 20 for 30, 222 yards, a touchdown, and a pick, but Deshaun was sacked 7 times. You know, when you see something like that go down, you know those offensive lines and all of the games, yes, the majority of the games were pretty pathetic. And they need work, but it's only Week 1. We know there are improvements to be made. But I have to say, both of these teams really fought a hard-fought game. The final score of the game was 21-18, and Cleveland was holding their own. I must say, I was impressed. I was actually shocked. I thought that high-powered Steelers offense was going to come out and blow Cleveland out. No, really, really competitive game. I just felt bad for Deshaun Kaiser getting hit 7 times like that, but he stood tall and really held his own.
Yeah, you know what? Exactly right what Rod said. You know, I got to tell, you know, the 3 of you guys. Rod, you're on hold for just a quick minute. Guys in the studio here, I want to bring up exactly what Rod said. Cleveland, they're a team that I thought would be in the bottom 5 as far as the picks and whatnot in the draft in 2018. But you know what? They could potentially surprise us in being maybe, you know, number 6 or 7 in the order. You know, still in the top 10 for sure, but they may not be in the bottom 5. I don't know. I'm with Ron on this one. I really do believe that Cleveland played a really, really good game. I also want to look at Atlanta and Chicago. And you know what? Mike Glennon, he did not play that bad. He didn't play that good. He was right in the middle. But the Bears guys, I think that they're going to have a couple of victories, you know, in the coming future.
I mean, yeah, honestly, what happened for me was Austin Hooper's big performance with the Falcons.
Right.
I mean, obviously, the Bears, that game, you know, came down to the final play. I was actually impressed to see, you know, them competing that well, but honestly, What I think it was is the Falcons playing on natural field instead of turf.
Right.
And that, gets rid of their speed, that gets rid of their grip. And obviously the Bears are, more used to playing on that type of field. But I honestly think that the Bears are going to be making improvements, but I don't think it's going to be that great.
And not only that, it's very funny that you bring up the natural grass and the artificial turf, because you weren't the only one who said it. Because Tony Dungy on NBC said that last night too. He said the same exact thing, as did Rodney Harrison as well. Guys, I don't know if you guys watched the Football Night in America segment before the Giants-Dallas game, which we'll obviously get into later in the show. But 23-17, I expected like a 34-7 type route, and Chicago, I'm gonna say a name here that not a lot of people will know who he is, but Tariq Cohen. Okay, he is 5'6". He's actually a month older than me, 7'26", He played college, North Carolina A&T. He's 181 pounds, and he reminds me a lot of, yes, I'm going to say it, Darren Sproles.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, Tariq Cohen, watch out for him. They saw big things from him in the preseason.
Pick him up in fantasy if you have PPR, guys.
Yeah, a lot of hype coming out of Chicago with Tariq Cohen. And then you have Jordan Howard, a guy who also put up phenomenal numbers last year. So now you have a team that has a quarterback. I like Mike Glennon. I don't think he's a superstar, but I think he's more than capable of being a consistent starting quarterback. Then you have this rushing attack now that has a guy, and you're right, Darren Sproles comparison is perfect. He runs the same way, he runs hard, he's quick, he's elusive, he can catch the ball. That's a big draft pick there, good find, and I do think these Bears do have a good shot of, making improvements from last season. On the other hand, the Falcons, I think they're missing Kyle Shanahan a little bit. They got to get used to having him with another team now. He's in San Francisco. The offense didn't look like they did last season at all. But you're right, Austin Hooper did have a big game. And you never know when Julio Jones is going to go off for 250 yards. You just can't sleep on the Falcons after a Week 1 performance where they won, but they weren't as dominant.
Well, one thing I want to bring up as far as missing Kyle Shanahan as the offensive coordinator, even though now, obviously, Alabama offensive coordinator Steve Sarkisian is now the offensive coordinator in Atlanta, he's not doing the play calling. Dan Quinn has given Matt Ryan full ability to call his own plays. He has said that. Tony Gonzalez has said that in a few interviews on FS1 yesterday. Matt Ryan is doing the play calling. He has been given that responsibility to do so. I want to go back to what Alec was saying with the Pats and the Chiefs. I don't want to completely, dismantle that topic. Kansas City is in trouble, and I'll tell you why. Because Eric Berry is out for the year. He completely destroyed his Achilles. That's his second Achilles injury in his career. To be completely honest with you, I do believe that that the Chiefs in their secondary are going to be hurting. Yes, even though they have a new guy, Mitchell, he looked pretty good against the Pats. But all in all, the Pats did not look that good on last Thursday. So I don't really know. Rod, do you have anything on the Pats, or do you want to just completely stay out of the Pats?
I have some things I can add to the Pats. I know you brought up Mitchell. Mitchell, to me, played well, but too many penalties, man. I understand you're young and you're still getting into the feel of the game, but you got to know when to keep your hands to yourself, turn your head around when you're playing defense and 50-50 balls and when the ball's up in the air. You got to know these things coming in. I understand it's your first game. You still have a lot to learn, but those things bother me when I see DBs play. And then to see Eric Berry go down the way he did, that was catastrophic for that Kansas City team, but it didn't slow them down. They kept up their momentum. Justin Houston really took the control of the game on the defensive side. But also, one thing I noticed in that game, in the first half, Tom Brady had all day to throw the football. In the second half, it felt like his offensive line folded. I saw a completely different offensive line. It was the same scheme, but I felt like I was watching a totally different team in the second half. So I don't know what happened. I don't know what was going on as far as the play calling goes on the offensive side of the ball for the Patriots. But something isn't right there with that offensive line. But most of all, the biggest disappointment is their defense. Once Hightower left that game, they completely lost themselves on defense, the Patriots. And they were lost. They didn't know what to do. I'm looking over at Matt Patricia. His face was it almost looked like he wanted to drop his play card and walk off the field. I've never seen the Patriots play like that on defense, and it was shocking to me.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you, Mike. Excuse me, Rod. Exactly what you said. I believe personally, guys. I'm going to bring this question up to the two guys here in the studio. The front seven for the Pats. Is there an issue? I'm going to say yes. I think that the front four, mainly the front four, for the Pats is not good. That's what I say, and I think that they need a lot of work.
Yeah, I think they need a lot of help too. Just to brush off Rod's point about what happened in the second half, Justin Houston happened. I mean, we haven't seen him in a couple of years coming back to his old self. The sack champion a few years ago. He didn't have a good year last year. Didn't look like he was, but how he had been. But he came back against the Patriots in that second half, and he was giving them a fit. As far as the Patriots defense goes, yeah, you lose Hightower. You trade away Jamie Collins last season, which, you still go on to win the Super Bowl, but your defense is not going to be as good when you're without Jamie Collins. And you see what he brings to other teams. Look at that Cleveland defense. They stopped Le'Veon Bell yesterday for nothing. So losing him was big. I think they do have concerns. Ninkovich is no longer there. Some of these guys that were with the team for a long time, these guys that have been consistently putting pressure on the quarterback and playing in this defense that Bill Belichick and his team like to run, you now don't have them. You have these young guys that need to step up, and I think they do have some question marks there that they need to look at.
Well, yeah, I'm going to go and say about their defense, they allowed few plays over 70 yards to the Chiefs, and that comes back to, Mike Patricia, maybe not play calling, but it's the communication between the guys on the field. Defensive coordinator and the head coach have to say something to their players. They have to be locked in at always. I mean, it's 17-14 at halftime. I was, expecting the Pats maybe to pull away. But then to let the Chiefs score 21 points in the fourth quarter and you don't put up anything, that's the game right there, and that's what ultimately cost them.
Rod, anything you want to add to either Alec or Mike's point?
Yeah, so first to Mike's point, that Rob Ninkovich not being there gives their defense a totally different look. And it's a big help. And if they can try to find a way to get that type of veteranship back on that team, that would be great. And I think it will help them tremendously. But to Alex's point, he's right. To give up that many unanswered points it felt like, did the Patriots just roll over and give up on themselves? What was going on that sideline? I wish I could have been a fly on the wall in the locker room after the game, because there had to be something going on. It was very, very weird. It was a very close game in the first half. You had the feeling that Tom Brady, Tom Terrific, was going to do it again and just pull away and win the game. But no, not this time. It was scary. Whenever do we see Alex Smith throw for 60-plus yards on one pass? He never takes chances down the field. But on week one, he decided to take some shots, and they paid off.
Yeah, he did. I gotta say, guys, exactly going back to Rod's point, he did play really well, and we now may not see Patrick Mahomes for a little bit, Alec.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Mahomes is coming in anytime soon. I mean, you got this rookie that they drafted in the first round. He's very, very good. He's got this fantastic arm. He looked good during the preseason, where Alex Smith didn't necessarily look like his old self. But, I mean, those accuracy questions were put to rest after that Week 1 performance against the Patriots. Alex Smith can still play. You let your rookie sit when you don't need him immediately. It worked out with Aaron Rodgers. It's going to work out with Patrick Mahomes. I was huge on him coming out in college. I wanted my Giants to take him.
Yeah, same.
Hopefully come in and replace Eli Manning at some point within the next few years. But unfortunately, Kansas City took him, and that didn't happen. But you're right. Alex Smith proved that he's still the starter there. It's his team. It's his job to lose, and it doesn't look like he's losing it anytime soon.
All right, that'll do it for us on segment 1 on today's show. We'll be right back to discuss Lamar Jackson and his extraordinary play as of recent right here on WSJU, St. John's University Radio Network. You're not going to want to miss it. Stay tuned.
Very good. Rod, wait, hold on. No, he can't. It's all right. He's okay. It's all right. You can talk, but there's nothing going on here. I'm gonna edit or put music over that. So it's pretty good. I just really wish that we could. And when the two guys come in, I'm gonna shut him off.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna shut him off, and we'll just record it off of here, and I'll edit this as well. It sounded pretty good, honestly. You know what? It sounded like an actual radio show with that too.
So what's his name? Roger Goodell and the NFL are trying to expedite this. So they didn't do it with the Patriots, with Tom Brady, but they're doing it with Zeke, and they're going to try to get the trial sooner so he can serve his suspension this season. But now they're going to have to argue when they file it why they want him to serve it this season and why he can't. You know. So we'll see how it plays out. So there's still a shot he gets suspended. And then we didn't have Odell. It was just so upsetting. By the way, you think Odell's not going to be the highest paid non-quarterback in the league after that?
He will.
Does he deserve it? Not necessarily, but because
Zach
they
is
have
working
nothing
at
else.
Staples right now. That's why he's not here.
Zach has a job at Staples.
It's all right. I have a job.
That was easy.
That's all right. I have a job at Under Armour. It's okay. Yeah, but Under Armour is better. That's basically what it comes down to.
What are we talking about? Lamar
You're still
Jackson?
there, right, Ron?
Lamar Jackson.
All right, good. Yeah, stay there. We're just, we're in a little break right now. Okay. All right.
This Lamar Jackson kid is so good. So good.
Do you ever follow Tosh Pino on Facebook?
I don't follow him, but
Is
I watch the
anyone's-
show.
Fucking hysterical.
They even still make. You see like episodes?
You watch college football?
Or they? Yeah,
You do?
love college football.
Not really.
Big
I know
Notre Dame.
you're not big on that.
Oh, this
Big
is
Notre
good.
Dame.
This is
Big Notre Okay.
Oh my god. So bad.
I used to not like college football, and now I love it.
Well, I love I love college sports because they all just play.
It's just
with
it's
so much
so
pride.
competitive. There's nothing else to it.
Yeah.
So many cool things happen because it's just like kids just messing around. You know. So,
I love watching like the tailgate videos on like Barstool too, and just like on Snapchat. That's so bad. Is that like all the account's about? It's just like,
Dude, he is hysterical on Facebook. Tyler texted me, the app doesn't work. I said, I know. Thanks. Great. Great, thanks.
good game.
Oh, that's what I wanted to tell you. So, listen, do you have any questions for our soccer players or no? It's whatever you want. No problem. That's all right. Listen, that's okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have you could either do one thing. You could do one of two things. You could stay on with us and listen, or you can hang up, eat lunch or whatever, and then call us back during right after their segment. Yeah. Okay. No problem. That's fine. I'm just making sure. I want to keep you on for whatever. You're a part of this too. All right. Awesome. Sounds good. Let me put you back on. Okay, we got a minute left. So after this, I have to get. No, I'm talking about this recording. The recording, I have to get No, I'm not
I
that
cracked
fat.
myself
Jesus.
up. No, I'm hungry. That's why.
Alyssa Bernardo is typing. The app doesn't work. I'm well aware. Been trying to.
All I had was a Pop-Tart this morning.
This was filled to the brim. Cheerios. I've just been eating them throughout.
All right, ready?
I'm ready.
No, I should stop chewing.
Yeah, I think you should.
All right.
All right, ready? 3, 2.
Welcome back to Beyond the Game, episode 15. I'm your host, Alec Norton, joined alongside Joey Jarzinka, Michael Slavitt, and Rodney Harris. Our next segment is about the reigning Heisman Trophy winner, Louisville Cardinal, and all-out college superstar, Lamar Jackson. Jackson has been playing on another planet to start out his 2017 college football campaign. He has led his Cardinals to 2 huge wins over Purdue and North Carolina. Already he is putting up equivalent numbers that he had last season, as we all know, ending him up with the Heisman Trophy. The season opener against Purdue, Lamar Jackson threw for 378 yards and 2 touchdowns, while adding another 107 yards rushing to his total yardage. 1 week later, Jackson put up even bigger numbers, throwing for 393 yards and 3 touchdowns, and rushing for 132 yards and 3 more touchdowns. Now, going into the season, Louisville was ranked at number 16, and now they are number 14. I'm going out there and predicting that the Louisville Cardinals will finish in the top 8 this season. And if Jackson keeps up this play, I wouldn't be surprised if he leads them to a bowl victory, and it would be no surprise to me at all if he ends up with another piece of hardware, which is the Heisman Trophy. Now, the next game is against the Clemson Tigers, so I'm really going to look forward to seeing how that defense plays out against Lamar Jackson. But maybe he doesn't put up as big numbers, but I'm still expecting him to put up, touchdowns over interception ratio and just adding on to his resume to win another Heisman. So, now I'm going to throw this one over to the very special Michael Slavitt, and I want you to give some insight on this topic and some of your input. And now, Mike, do you believe that Lamar Jackson has what it takes to win a Heisman for a second straight year?
Oh yeah, I'm all aboard the Lamar Jackson bandwagon. I went down to Louisville to watch him play last year. A good friend of mine was in grad school down there. I went to go watch him play, and boy, does this guy look like a superstar. We had Michael Vick tweet out last season that he was better than Vic was at that point when Vic was in college. And to watch Lamar Jackson come out this season and pick up just where he left, although he started slumping a little bit towards the end of last season, he came out of the gate hot again this year. He's rushing, he's throwing the ball, he's improved his deep throw, which was the big question mark coming in. And how could this guy not be in the topic of conversation when it comes to Heisman winnings in the beginning of the season? I mean, you didn't hear his name. You heard Darnold. You heard Josh Rosen. You didn't hear Lamar Jackson coming back and repeating. But, I mean, this last game against North Carolina put up 525 yards by himself. Of the 705 that Louisville had, 74% of the yards were because of this man. I mean, you look at what he does week in and week out. He's got the wheels to make the plays. He's got the arm to make every throw. He's just a superstar in the making and a young Michael Vick.
Lamar Jackson, I'm just reading here. He had 525 total yards between passing and rushing also. That was the most ever allowed by a North Carolina defense and the 8th most by any ACC player. I'm going to tell you something right now. Lamar Jackson will also, because me with college football is not the biggest, but Lamar Jackson I have been studying, I've been following, and this kid is something special. There's no doubt about it. Mike is all aboard that wagon. I've seen that ever since way before he went down to Louisville to watch him, and now it's just coming into light. I do believe that this man will win the Heisman again. Do I think that he will be the number 1 overall pick or whatnot in that area? I don't think so. No, definitely not. I think that this Saturday against Clemson, there will be a dogfight. It's going to be a really, really fun matchup. It's going to be fun, Mike.
It's going to be cool to watch Clemson play again. We saw them beat Louisville just by, I believe, a touchdown last time they played last season.
Yeah.
It was a really, really close, fun, entertaining game. Clemson's without Deshaun Watson. So they lost their big quarterback. He's been there for a few years. Now they have a new quarterback in there, and I think Louisville is hungry to come back and beat them. I don't think it's going to be a close game. I could be wrong. I was completely off with the Patriots-Chiefs game, so you can't go with my word. But I think Lamar Jackson's going to put on a show against Clemson. Before we kick it over to Rod, because I want to move on a little bit with the Heisman talk with Jackson, who do you think, Rod, has any chance of maybe unseating him as the favorite to win between Darnold, Baker Mayfield, Josh Rosen, and even the Penn State running back Barkley?
I would have to say that at this point, I don't think it's any one of those guys that can knock that can knock Lamar Jackson off of the top of the mountain. I'm telling you right now, this man will repeat as your Heisman Trophy winner. He's going to be a two-time Heisman Trophy winner. If there's anybody that would come close, if I had to pick one, it would be Baker Mayfield for me. After seeing that performance against Ohio State this last weekend, I'm sitting there saying off-the-field questions with Baker Mayfield. I don't know about this kid. He makes me nervous. But watching how he played and the passion that he plays with, pure quarterback, very, very good at the position. But it's something about Baker Mayfield that he can just tweak his game to give himself that it factor. Lamar Jackson has that it factor. He is special. He is one of a kind. You don't find a player like him every single day. And I'm telling you right now, according to ESPN's Heisman track right now, they have Josh Rosen first, Baker Mayfield second, and Lamar Jackson third. I don't know how they have this, and I hope it updates by today, that they update that, because that, to me, is completely wrong. But Lamar Jackson right now is at the top. Like I said, if it's anybody that's going to come close, is Baker Mayfield. I understand that Josh Rosen has a big arm. I get that. But he still hasn't shown me enough yet. Not enough to make him that top Heisman Trophy candidate. But I say Baker Mayfield comes very close to Lamar Jackson. But Lamar Jackson is just on another level. He's just special. He has something about him that just makes you want to keep watching. He's exciting. It's crazy. And I'm getting excited over a college quarterback. Like, this is wild. This is going to be a lot of fun to watch when they play Clemson. It's going to be entertaining. And I wish everybody would tune in. That's going to be a great football game, because Louisville continues to improve year after year after year. And you're right, Mike. They are hungry, and he is hungry. He's not going for just the Heisman. He's trying to make that playoff. He's trying to get the national championship. So let's see what Louisville does this season. And really, with him at the helm leading the charge, they can go a long way.
And to add to your Baker Mayfield point, I mean, I'm sure you're smiling right now when I'm going to mention this. When he took that flag, and I can picture you laughing right now, and took the flag and stuck it right in the of Ohio State, and everyone went, wow. I mean, that was such a cool moment. That was so much fun. To go over to the other guys in the Heisman race, I mean, you said Josh Rosen was listed as number one. I mean, he was phenomenal against Hawaii, completing 22 of 25 passes for 329 yards and 5 touchdowns. I mean, he was so good. Over the last 5 quarters, actually, he's gone 41 of 51 for 621 yards and 9 touchdowns and no interceptions. So he is putting on a stellar performance, too. The one thing he lacks is that rushing ability that Jackson has. I think it's going to be a tight race between the three of them. But I'm with you. I'm aboard the Lamar Jackson bandwagon. I think he's going to win it. But those are some talented college quarterbacks that you have every right to be excited about this season.
Yeah, it's very entertaining. And I can't wait to see how it all plays out at the end of the day. Who's going to be on top? Who's going to be sitting there waiting for their name to be called to hoist that trophy up?
I mean, back to your point, Mike, with Baker Mayfield, sticking that, OU flag right in the middle of Ohio State. They're acting like they just won a national championship. And that's what college football is all about, with the pride and, the hungriness that all these players play with. I mean, I can see OU, they're at the number 2 position right now in the new AP poll. I can see them honestly holding that position, which is bold to say. But I honestly think that, Oklahoma is just holding their own. And going back to Lamar Jackson, I want to make a point. Louisville Cardinals are ranked 54th in rushing yards, which is not very good. But that is because Lamar Jackson is their running back as well, if you think about it. I mean, Malik Williams, who is only running for 149 yards it's just pretty good within 2 games. Lamar Jackson has 239 yards in 2 games and 771 passing yards. That's almost over 1,000 yards already. That is 1,000 yards already in 2 games, which is just phenomenal. And that's why I personally see Lamar Jackson winning the Heisman Trophy again.
Rod, you want to add anything to that, or?
That's a great point. Just a flat out great point. And trust me, I will not be surprised. I won't be surprised what this let's look at it. Let's step away from the paper. Put all your cards on the table. Tell me something that these 2 quarterbacks at the top here, Rosen and Mayfield, what do they have over Lamar Jackson at the moment? I can't figure it out. I've looked at it over and over again, watched plenty of games with these quarterbacks playing, and I keep seeing Lamar Jackson just pop up saying, man, he does that better than them. Man, he's a great leader right here. Look at him in the huddle right here. Watch how he changes that play right at the line right there. Look at how he commands the offense right here. It's so many different things that this kid can do, and he's special. He's special. Now, when it comes down to the NFL level, let's not get there yet. Maybe I don't know how he's going to perform on the NFL level. But right now, in Louisville, he's doing wonderfully. Just keep going. Keep pushing.
Well, I mean, one thing I want to add, too, and I don't want to come off wrong or anything, but one player he does remind me of on the college level, you know who I'm going to say? Johnny Manziel. And I'm not saying with all the hype around, what he's been doing other than the game. I mean, they're both phenomenal players at the college level, but I feel like we've been saying the same thing when Johnny Manziel was in his prime in college. Obviously Lamar Jackson is doing phenomenal as well. He's probably going to win his 2nd Heisman. But I do want to see how he's going to convert into the NFL play calling type.
Yeah, I think Lamar Jackson is much faster than Johnny Manziel. He's a little bit bigger, and I think he's a smarter quarterback. I think Johnny Manziel did well in college, but he wasn't as dominant, I think, as Lamar Jackson has been. I mean, Johnny Manziel was able to avoid defenders, he bounced off of them, and that stuff you can't do in the NFL.
Right.
Lamar Jackson outruns defenders. He outruns secondaries. He's like Michael Vick. I think he's just a whole nother level of talent. He's got the arm too. Rod mentioned not really, finding something that these other quarterbacks are better at than him, and it really is hard. I mean, this guy can do it all. I think he's going to be a stud, and I think he's going to be a stud in the NFL. I was not aboard the Johnny Manziel train. I didn't think he'd be good in the NFL.
Yeah,
I think he'll be good. I hope his career pans out for him, but I do think he will stay in college one more year after this one.
I really hope so, because it's going to be something special to watch. All right, now we're going to move on to our next segment, which is about the U.S. Open's men's title, with Rafael Nadal recently winning his 16th U.S. Open. Now, guys, I have a question.
His 16th Grand Slam, but go ahead, you're
Grand
good.
Slam.
You're good.
Yeah,
You're
not
good.
US
You're
Open.
good. You're good.
Just
good.
adding, a little more hardware. But
there you go.
With this victory, how much more does Nadal have left in his tank? And, with his weak knees and his injury history, can he hold on to catch up to Federer? Now, I'm going to go right into this, if you don't mind, guys.
Go, Alec, go right ahead.
All right, I feel like Nadal has been looking as the guy, who is chasing down the great in Roger Federer his whole career. But, Nadal is very injury-prone with his knee-related injuries in his history. And even although with these injuries, it seems like every time Nadal steps foot onto the court, he brings something to the table. The guy just always seems to bounce back when you think he is reaching the end of his career. And one thing that he honestly did lose was some of his speed because of his weak knees. But he substitutes this loss by increasing his, aggressiveness on the court and his attacking style of play. And with Federer being upset by Juan Martín del Potro in the quarterfinals, Nadal moves one step closer to chasing down the all-time leader in Grand Slam titles. Federer currently sits at the record-holding 19 slam titles, while Nadal sits at a second all-time record of 16. For Nadal, winning the U.S. Open major was a major victory in his career. But we all have the same question. How much more does Nadal have left? Guys?
I'm going to take this one, Mike, from you quickly. Me, as an avid tennis fan, I played tennis all throughout my life, through high school, community college level as well. I think that he was put in the luck of the draw this time. What I say, I believe that he, at 16 Grand Slams, his knees are shot. Okay, I think that Federer had a bad match against Juan Martín del Potro. He did, losing in five sets. His career record against del Potro is a -1. Him at night at the U.S. Open, he's only lost 2 matches ever at night in his 12-year career, 15, 16-year career. Roger Federer, that is. I think that Federer has, obviously with 19 championships, I don't think that Nadal, his knees can hold up. He said right after Wimbledon, Mike and Alec, he said, I don't know if I could play Federer and actually beat him. Because he knows how to, Federer knows how to beat Nadal. And with his knee, with the knee injuries that this man has, his knees could blow at any time.
And what I respect about the two of those tennis players is they have a friendly competition going on between themselves. They both like going at it, but to go back to your point about whether he can catch him in Grand Slams, I don't think so either. I think Federer is just too far ahead at this point in both of their careers that he would not be able to lose the title to Nadal. I think Nadal's knees, as Joey pointed out, are not in the best condition. Like Joey said, they're shot. It was good to see him come back to what he was before everything happened, but I doubt he gets enough championships without Federer winning any more Grand Slams to have more wins than Roger Federer. I just don't see it happening. I don't think his knees hold up.
Rod, do you want to add anything into this or no?
Another point I want to make about this, with Rafael Nadal, he's 31 years old, just turned 31 on June 3rd. You know, Mike, you're 100% right. His knees are shot. Will he catch Federer? I don't think so. I just think that Father Time is undefeated, and tennis does such a taxing job to your body that your body starts to break down, and you can't help it. It's not not really his fault that he played tennis so hard, put that much stress on himself to play at a high level, and he has so many accomplishments. But catching Federer and still trying to chase that person in front of him, it's too much. And I don't think that he has enough left in the tank to catch up, and I don't think he has enough left in the tank to keep going. Actually, I'd say if I had to put years on it, I don't even know. It depends on how long those knees can keep him standing up. But I just can't see him going further. I can't see him going 5 more years and stuff like that. That's too long, man. He's had so many injuries, and he's so tough. And it's such a hard thing to talk about when you talk about somebody as special as Rafael Nadal, and you're talking about towards the end of his career. You never want to see a guy like this have his career end. But man, what a win! I'm happy that he won. And I just don't see him catching Federer at all.
The one thing that I want to bring into this is that I think that if he plays certain Grand Slams, he can't play 2 slams, Australian, U.S. Open. He can't play them together. He played so hard at Wimbledon. Grass, I've played on grass before with tennis. It is taxing to your body, exactly the way Rod said it. It hurts. It hurts your knees, okay? My right knee is shot, okay? my ankle, I've torn my Achilles before, and it will never be the same. I cannot play on grass anymore. It's hard also for me to play on hard court. So I know exactly how Rafael Nadal is feeling. Do I think that he has a little left in the tank past 5 years? If he plays the correct tournaments, he can't go from Australia, or sorry, from the U.S. Open series, play the U.S. Open, and then go right to Australia. He's got to take some time off, and then he's got to play the clay court where he is master of his domain there. There's no doubt about it. I think that he lasts about another 3 to 4 years. I say Federer retires at 40. He's got another 4. I think that Federer will get 20 slams, and he is the greatest player of all time in tennis, the GOAT. He will continue that at some point, I think, moving into Australia. Alec?
I mean, I'm going to completely agree with you, too. I do believe that Federer will reach number 20 Grand Slam titles, but honestly, Nadal, I think maybe, he can maybe get 1 or 2 more, but I don't see him reaching up to, as you say, the GOAT in Roger Federer.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. I think that that's basically all we got for that. One quick thing I just want to bring in. Very big congratulations to Sloane Stephens, women's final or women's champion for the U.S. Open, and the top 4 women. That was an absolute unbelievable feat for the first time since 1985. 1981. Or no, yeah, it was 1985. 1981 was Wimbledon. So definitely a good one there. What do we have next after the break?
All right, so right after the break, we are inviting our special guests, Andrew Withers and Andrea Previati of the St. John's men's soccer team, into the studio with us. They're going to give their insight on the season so far and for things to come. Make sure to be tuning in. We'll be right back after this short break.
All right, so I'll let you go now, or do you want to say that's right? You're staying online, right? I'm just gonna keep you on the air. All right, sounds good, bub. Come here, come.
Welcome.
Get in here.
How we doing?
So Alec Norton, Andrea Previati, and Andrew Withers.
Hey,
buddy. Thank you
we-
for coming. Thank you both for coming. Did you get in trouble?
No.
All right, good. Just making sure.
Class ended early.
All right, good. All right, good. Just making sure.
I was getting trouble. I did go late because I was
No, we're good. No. Where's it going? It's not going anywhere.
It ain't even moving.
It's not even doing anything. No, because this is going here. They're playing with crap in the little engineering studio, so our app isn't even working. So I'm gonna send you guys this and that after that.
You didn't say there was going to be a camera. I thought it was radio. Look at this.
It is. So what? Please,
Yeah,
you're
get
all
the whole
right.
feature in there. Yeah.
Listen.
I have a face for radio.
Me too.
All right, we got about six or 7 minutes. So thank you guys for coming in here and just relaxing
But
quickly.
right now,
So-
what is like music is going?
yeah, music's going on. Yeah, music's going on right behind this, and yeah, well,
Johnny's playlist.
nah, I have no idea what the hell this is, but yeah, this is it.
It's what we got to work with, to say the least.
How many hours a day that they could like it's online the radio?
I think all the time.
Oh,
All
it's
the time,
always
man.
live.
Always.
They always will have music going at some point.
Yeah.
They put top 40 hits on. It probably gets really repetitive.
And like basically, there's like a part of shows, and the rest of the day is just
It's just the
music.
Pretty
music
much,
that plays. Yep.
Yeah.
Unless there's a show on, they just cycle through the top 40 chart. or whatnot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly.
I mean, if
what
you're
it
into that kind of music, then you're set. But
is. Nobody,
I don't
no,
think
no,
anyone
not a
listens.
single soul
you just
listens
put
to
your own
this.
Spotify or something.
Not a single soul listens to this. Why does this not work? I had to pull up stats.
Does it even have a channel, or are you just speaking to a microphone?
No, it does have a channel. It just
Imagine just.
Just talking.
yeah,
Nothing there.
nah, there actually is a channel, but the whole thing is that
You
Yeah.
off campus or on campus?
Off campus.
The house.
We
Yeah,
can live
most
on
soccer
campus.
guys are off campus, apart from like.
But you can't live on campus.
Just some walk-on like live on campus.
Yeah,
but, like the recruits like never live on campus.
They always want them to live off campus with the team. Like,
Oh.
They grow more if they live off campus.
Yeah, that's what it was. I used to go to school in Albany. And I was friends with a lot of the team up
Yeah.
there, and they had the soccer. I mean, that was the spot. But I was every weekend. I don't know if you guys throw it down at your house, but that's what it is at the.
My house gets destroyed.
Yeah.
He lives in the soccer house.
Oh, you live in like the.
That's where Alberto and Marco lived in his place.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was there one night because I went with them to Brooklyn. We went to Williamsburg. Me and the Italians from the soccer club we work for, and of course,
Which
Both-
club?
You both.
FA Euro.
FA Euro?
You gonna play with us next year?
I'm not sure.
Ugh.
Do you just send a forward?
We had them.
We need people. We need
Yeah.
anybody. We need anybody,
It's
and
like
I need good people.
But,
I met Joe.
Do you have a good coach? Because if you have a good coach, you can get good players.
Ah, shit, we're screwed.
If your coach is awful, everyone's gonna be like, "Well, don't go there. The coach is
I
absolutely
remember
weird."
every time some Italians arrives from to come to play FA Euro, right?
Yeah, they have them.
You had
Every
Yusuke
year.
Kobayashi play for you.
Yusuke.
Oh, I hate that kid.
The worst player I've ever seen in my life.
Dude, he never
Isn't
played.
the hot dog eating guy, Kobayashi?
You have no idea who he's talking about, do you?
It's an American thing. Nathan's hot dog contest on the 4th of July. Have you ever heard of it?
Oh, he's in the Coney Island?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus, I know more than you. I went to the fucking place where you eat so much and it's the countess on the
They have
4th of July.
these like professional
want-
eaters suck down
Do you
70
need to know about
bugs in 10
the
minutes.
scandal?
Who?
What?
Is it with Jeff?
Oh, no, don't.
Nah, don't mention that. Don't mention
That
that.
would be so.
You could
bad.
say it off the. You could say it off the record though, which there's nothing going on right now. Not a single soul is listening. But why would happen? What did you people do?
You could literally say anything.
But
We have no
I'm
idea.
off the air. Yeah.
No, we have no idea.
Oh.
Yeah,
They
we
didn't
don't know.
communicate us anything.
Oh boy. That's
From
not
one day
good.
to the other.
That's not good. That's not good. Hey, you
Looks
have
like we're gonna have a
You know
new
just as
some
much as
reasons.
us.
What is that?
all I. Those are your stats.
No way.
We have stats.
Yes, I'm the one who takes the stats, so you're welcome.
I see the ones
Holy
the Big East
shit.
posted. You know who's top of the save percentage and goals against?
Excuse me.
There's no
Here
minutes
you are.
played, right?
Here you are
What?
on the
There's no
NCAA
minutes played on the
website.
stats, right?
19
Crickets of 19.
No, because
man.
why would there
I
be?
was
I remember I
last
saw
year
one
at
time
the
like
end of the
last year.
Okay,
minutes
well,
played.
I bet you there
Yeah.
is though on the Big East site. It's
Oh.
not on our site because
yeah,
our
yes.
site sucks.
I'm
I
like,
saw it
the
on
ball
Yeah,
comes
yeah,
at me when I used
yeah.
to play goalie with my friends.
Wait,
and
hold on
I'm
one second. I gotta.
nope.
I get
I
shots
gotta
from my
tingle,
own
excuse me.
defenders.
Yeah. Oh, I meant to tell you, the last game, right? It was Hofstra game. It looked like FA Euro, right? We were saying that.
Yeah, I do that
I
way
was
too
so
often.
like,
I know.
Bullshit.
The Hofstra game was so frustrating.
Hold on a second.
in the last game, I tipped one over the bar and the ref gave a goal kick and no one
Yeah,
said
I
anything.
remember.
I was like,
No, I remember that.
do I say anything?
Our game was
I'm
very
just keep
bad.
quiet at that.
That's just like,
yeah.
oh, okay. That's
I
cool.
just remember 2 years ago playing during a spring that of course it's different, blah 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 blah. But when he's not scared to play with like a real formation, and we went to Austria and beat them 5-1.
Mm.
But at
And
the
then-
time he was playing with actually 3 strikers, 3
4-3-3.
real midfielders, like, and we were playing 4-3-3 for the whole spring, so we know.
But then when the season comes, he's like, oh, they got 2 strikers up front, 5 of them.
Five in the back, and we tied off short. Like the
I-
semester after.
I don't know how anyone runs 5 defenders formation. Why
I
would
mean,
you? I would-
Chelsea kind of do, but they do it
But-
more attackingly.
but the
Like, it's,
the
more,
backs
it's way more
go.
attacking.
Also because then our
Yeah.
offensive players most of the time are just like defenders put in the offensive side.
Yeah.
Like,
What, on your team?
well, yeah. So
Oh, yeah,
like,
you got a lot of defenders.
like he
Like
even
LeVay, centre mid.
like
LeVay was actually on the roster last time. We actually.
That was your fault, wasn't it?
That
Joey?
was not my fault. I told you that was what's his face's fault. Janazic.
Jacuzzi. Jacuzzi.
I was telling
I need to put like a foam thing here because I've hit my head like 12 times in the past 2 shows.
Who's the idiot? Oh, you guys are using mic 5 or not right there. Yeah, set that up for them, please.
It doesn't stay.
This is what we work with here. Yeah.
Lovely.
All
Where's
right.
this thing turned?
Alright, so at any time, you can start it up. It is 12 o'clock, so we're good.
Ready to go? Nervous?
Where's Andrea? Where are you?
All the questions.
I went on national TV more than a couple times in Italy.
Oh yeah,
Did you really?
Yeah, like live. I went.
So you know, so
me
hold on,
too.
time out.
I know a guy who works for the radio.
So wait, no, so hold on one second. So that
I
means
was
you know
in the
Alberto
Genova
Rebecca then?
Sport.
Alberto?
Yeah, Rebecca.
No.
Definitely doesn't because he's
I was
crap.
I was in the Genova Sports newspaper.
No, not that. I was like Sky Sport 1.
No, I know what you are. But I'm saying I was joking.
He was in the real stuff.
I know the guy who does the New Zealand All Whites games. He plays with my dad's team.
Well, that's pretty good.
Good connection.
Yeah. Jason Pond.
Wait, we have to stay close to the because I never did actually radio.
Yeah, you just
Oh,
talk.
yeah,
you
you're
don't
good.
get in.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're
They'll
good.
pick
You're
you up
good.
from like where I am.
Yeah, because we're all, and I'm recording it here, and here, so we can't mess up. And then after this, I'm gonna in the break or whatnot. Right? There's a break right after that.
But
right?
this is live.
No.
Or is
It
it's
goes right
recorded?
after the- Unless
It's
you
gonna be
want
No,
recorded.
it's gonna
but
be-
it will-
It's not live.
it is live, but
It
it's
is live. It
it's
is live.
usually
Yeah,
live,
it's
but
usually
right
live
now,
right
the
now.
website that it's not working. so
Yeah,
you can't
they're
listen.
down, so it's recording on my flash drive on here and also there too. This is gonna be on YouTube. This is gonna be. I'm gonna put it up tonight on another website.
Shirts off.
If you want to, sure. It'll be bloopers. Oh, after though, the 5 of us for our Facebook page, Twitter page, and whatnot.
Epic.
Picture, yes.
Unusual.
Deal with it, Withers.
You
Alright.
said you don't know the questions. It's just gonna be
I
stuff
told.
about
He doesn't listen.
Past games.
I told him this.
Past
everything.
game.
He
and
messaged
going
me
forward.
and it looked like we're all reading. So
See, at least Andrea read
It's-
it, so thank
it's-
you.
You're fine. You just
I know. It's gonna
Oh,
be,
I should ask you a question about Bert. Oh, dude,
who's Bert?
Bert is the one that says Andrew Withers.
He needs to hurry up.
No, we
he
really
needs
need
to
to
hurry
talk
up.
with him to hurry up with the other team.
Like when he
so
says
long.
from the other
Yeah?
team.
So long we got freezing on the field. No,
Really?
seriously,
It's like-
it's something that we.
Do you want me
really
to say something? I can
It's
say
like
something.
John Smith from blah blah
Like-
blah. His mum's a good person.
everywhere
his mom
everywhere-
could cook
Alright,
a
hold on,
mean
hold on,
chicken
hold
parm. Like,
It's like
Hold on,
so
time
long.
out, time out. Listen.
Everywhere we go.
All right,
Later.
listen.
That's
We'll talk about it
Yeah.
during the next break when you guys are done. Let's get this started. All right, you're good to go whenever.
We want to welcome you all back from the break as we get right back into the show, diving right into our hour number 2. This is a special segment as we bring in our special guests, Andrew Withers and Andrea Priviati, to give us some insight on the St. John's men's soccer team and their 2017 campaign. Andrew, Andrea, welcome to the show.
Thanks.
Hi guys, thank you.
So you guys just came off a very impressive 2-0 victory over Temple. Talk to me about the mindset the team had going into that game, especially coming off a tie to Hofstra in a game where a lot of people had you guys winning.
Well, that game was very important for us because we came after a tie with Austria and a bad loss with Fordham, especially because both of the games we could have won. So we were kind of nervous, but at the same time we knew we could make the game like in a positive way. So we started pretty determined from the start, from the first moment. We create couple occasions, but then like something wasn't working really because in the first 60, 70 minutes, I believe, like we almost had the ball possession, we keep the ball. We actually played not too bad. We played decent soccer, but just the ball wasn't going in. And then like a good combination, I believe Matt Foster was going into the goal. We got a penalty, so that first goal like changed completely the game. In the last 20 minutes we played so much like mind-free that we dominated the last 20. So we're very happy about that, and now we're ready for Santa Barbara tomorrow.
Yeah, I think the boys did really well after coming off a few, I'd say, disappointing results. I think we did well to sort of keep working and keep focused. The preparation before the game with our video and our meetings was great. You know, everyone was positive, ready to get the win on Saturday night.
Yeah. Now, one thing I want to bring in, obviously, me working with your team. I love seeing you guys. I love seeing wins, though. Do we see a light at the end of the tunnel, both of you guys? After a 2-0 win, but the last 2 games or 3 games previous, before the game against Temple, you guys were shut out. Filippo Riccupati and Harry Cooksley both down and out the last game. Rumblings I've heard Harry has a high ankle sprain, out 2 to 4 weeks. How much does this hurt your team moving forward, especially against the high-powered UC Santa Barbara team on Tuesday?
Well, like as you said, we had 3 games with no goals, and Filippo, that is our center forward, and most of the time you need a striker to create a lot of goal occasion. He's kind of injured right now. He's like keep going on and off from the field. He has like a tendinitis, I believe. And Harry, the last game, had just his ankle injury that we didn't have him for the game. But those 2 guys are like our quality players on top. But even without them, like I'm pretty sure we can handle very well the game, because we can have a lot of players coming into the field, like a lot of subs and a lot of fresh players on top. And maybe we're not gonna have the same quality, but a lot of like runs and maybe pressure. So probably the way we're gonna play those games are like high pressure and try to win the balls as fast as we can to try to be in the offensive midfield.
Yeah, we have a big roster. We have a 30-man roster, so I think it's good for. It's just another chance for guys to step up and step into the role of Harry and Philo and work hard to, like we did against Temple, to start getting in the goals. Because, like most teams say, it's not just 2 players getting the goals; it's a team effort. So I think it's a good chance for guys to step up and really keep the team going forward.
Yeah, and that was the point I was going to mention. Your head coach's comments after the game were that he was very pleased to see a lot of your team step up and perform well. And he mentioned you by name, besides the guys like Andrew who are on the stat sheet. He said, the whole team really came together. And how important is that, going forward with you guys losing a couple of your, forwards and players? How important is it for everyone to come together and make sure that everyone does their job? Is that something that you guys talk about in the locker room? And from what you heard from the coach after the game, was he positive in the locker room? Was he excited, or did you get maybe a little bit something different from him?
Like you said, I think it's extremely important that the guys are stepping up and coming forward, which we've seen through the likes of Alistair playing out of position a bit up front, Jack and Raf, who's a freshman, coming on giving us energy, Andrea coming in, stepping into the attacking midfield role, did an excellent job. Matt Forrester on the left, after his redshirt season last season, I think he's doing well. And coach was happy after the game. Obviously, he wasn't too, trying to keep our level-headed, I'd say. So he was happy, but there are things we need to work on that he was telling us and talking to us about, and really he's just trying to keep us moving forward. And now we're focusing on the Santa Barbara game.
Yeah, like one thing that he especially wants to tell us, to the players that not all the time receive a lot of playing time, if I can say, that sometimes for a player it can be frustrating, to maybe play 20 minutes, 15 minutes, just step into the game. But sometimes those players has to realize that they may be the real impact on the game, and that happened last game, but happened also on Loyola when we didn't win. We had actually lost 1-0, but the second half we completely dominated the game. Happened again in Fordham. Again, another loss, but the players that came in the second half made a huge impact, and then happened again in the last game, and this time actually worked well. So sometimes it's hard to be focused, or when you're not playing and you're not a starter, but if you have the right mentality, you can step into the field and make a huge impact.
Our keeper, Andrew Withers, he is ranked number 1 in the Big East Conference with goals against average at 0.38 goals against average, and his save percentage, he's only allowed 2 goals in 5 games played, 18 saves, and a save percentage of 90%. That's some fantastic numbers. Something else I want to bring into both of you guys, or actually Andrew more so. We were talking about the lack of depth at forward, lack of depth at midfield for you guys. Do you see any top recruits possibly coming in maybe next year? Any redshirt players this year that are redshirted for next year. Again, light at the end of the tunnel, possibly where playoffs could be something on the horizon.
I wouldn't say that we have a lack of depth in our team. I think this year we have a lot of players that can come off the bench, even though you haven't seen. Some of the guys have only played like 10 minutes, but I think we've got a lot of players in our squad to come through and hopefully make our team stronger as the season goes on. If guys come injured, we've got guys that can replace them, which hasn't happened in recent years. So I think this year we're looking a lot healthier to make the playoffs. If we just stay focused, everyone concentrates on their role, and we get some results, grind out some results, especially on the road.
Now, Joey did mention your phenomenal stats so far this season, but the opposing goalkeeper for UC Santa Barbara is having an equally impressive season. How important is it that you are on your A game for this upcoming matchup? It appears that it's going to be a keeper's duel, so how do you go about it?
I will try to make the stats of the UC Barbara team way lower than what is it.
It's actually on the NCAA website, one spot above it.
Yeah, I mean, you could say it's a goalkeeper's duel, but at the same time I think it's more, the stats aren't so individual. I think they do focus on the defence of both teams. I think both teams are going to set up very well defensively, and we're going to we're going to focus on not letting them in, and hopefully catching a goal against the, as you said, strong defence. So I don't think it's going to be a keeper's duel, even though the keepers need to play well, which hopefully I will, which I hope I usually do. So I think both defence are going to be strong, and it's going to be a tight game on Tuesday night.
Yeah, confidence is definitely important, Andrew.
Yeah, another thing I want to bring in, Andrea, to say what you were about to say. I knew you were going to say something there, no?
Well, no, as I mentioned before, probably that's gonna be really tight game. Is we know they are very physical, and we need to use the counter very well. And again, if the keeper looks great in the stats, it's gonna be our job to try to make him stats not looking that good.
Another thing I want to bring in, you guys, or actually Georgetown, ranked number 1 in the Big East so far, 4-0-1 non-conference play. Regardless of the stats, who do you guys see as your biggest threat when you guys start Big East play in a couple of weeks?
I mean, the big teams, obviously, Creighton and Georgetown are doing very well this year, but Creighton, Georgetown, Butler, Villanova, I don't think have had a strong start, but they were good last year. I think the Big East is a difficult conference, and it's a big conference, so I think every game's going to be a massive game for us. And we start off with Seton Hall on Saturday.
That they're actually doing a great job.
Yeah, which is going to be a huge game. They've scored a lot of goals, so the Big East is very strong this year. And we've got to fight and battle to get in them playoff places.
Yeah, I think since our real goal this year is to get to the playoffs for Big East, most likely every team is gonna be a huge game against. Seton Hall actually this year, they're doing very well. They just came out from a win 4-3 against Princeton, where they were down 3-0 in the 60 minutes. So that was very impressive. And so we can say from these stats and from these results that there's no actually a real big team and a real bad team. For sure, again, as Andrew said, Georgetown and Creighton are, and probably Butler as well.
Yeah, they're top 10 teams.
They're always the best. So our battle has to be with Xavier, Marquette, and maybe Villanova to get into the spots.
Yeah, well, we do know that Andrew was just announced as the Big East Conference Goalkeeper of the Week.
Congratulations.
So congratulations.
Very nice.
And
you can clap that up here.
One
Yes.
thing that the other teams can say they don't have is a stud goalkeeper like you. So it's going to be fun to watch what happens with conference play this season.
Andrew, your thoughts on that award?
I just like to thank obviously my teammates, and obviously can't look too much into it, and just got to keep working, keep fighting with the teams to get the wins on the board, because that's what's important at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's humongous, and I think you guys have, from what I see here on your schedule, you guys have, after tonight, you guys only have 2 more non-conference games against Lehigh and Princeton, both away, and then the rest of the games are all conference games that really all count. Obviously, every game counts, but still. Should be a fun one tonight here at Belson, UC Santa Barbara, tonight on ESPN3, 7 o'clock, September 12th. And then they come back home after Saturday. They play Xavier. That's when they start their conference games at home here at Belson on September 23rd at 7 on the Big East Digital Network. Guys, anything else for these two, or think that's it?
I'm just going to wish you guys luck for the
Yeah.
remainder of the season, and we'll be at as
Give it
many
your best.
games as we can.
Exactly,
make
yes, and hopefully
support you.
Exactly, we'll get you guys back in here for sure, and we'll be
for
on the
sure.
field supporting you guys for sure. I'll be supporting you upstairs with the stats, Andrew, for Andrea as well. But I'll give you a couple extra saves there. All right?
Oh yeah, definitely. You missed a few in the last game, by the way.
You're all good there.
Cool.
So
Thanks for having us, guys.
Yeah.
All right. Andrew Withers and Andrea Previati, thank you guys so much for joining us in the studio. It means so much. Good luck in your game against UC Santa Barbara.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
We'll be there watching. Give it your best. We're going to be right back after these short breaks to discuss some NHL Bridgestone Winter Classics. Don't be sure to miss it. Stay right here.